Welcome, this is Josh Reeves with Mile High Church in Lakewood, Colorado. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast today. For more information about our church, please visit our website, milehighchurch.org.
Anyone here ever go to a casino? I like to go from time to time. When I was in California, and my wife is from Las Vegas, so we return there regularly. I've been to the Central City and the Black Hawk places here, and those are pretty cool, but there's Mile High is a big place, so there's always a mile higher there to greet me, which can be a little awkward. So one time I'm at a casino, and I don't normally play roulette, but I decide to play roulette. And there's a few other people there at the table, and I really want to win. So I start beseeching God, praying that the ball will land on number 10. Dear God, please help me win this game of roulette. Clearly, I have the most prayerful consciousness of anyone here at this table, and it is my ministerial and spiritual right to win the abundance available to me through this game. And I'm even telekinetically trying to get the ball to land right there, number 10. You've never done anything like this, have you? And I didn't win. But dedicated to spiritual living, it did teach me or reinforce a couple things about this practice we use here called affirmative prayer. First, spirit doesn't cheat. Affirmative prayer is not about bending or manipulating the laws of the universe into breaking the rules of a game or a process in your favor. It's good to know what you want. Good to be clear on what it is that you want to receive, but you can't always control how it's going to demonstrate for you. Second, you can't ask Spirit to make your way of life better at the expense of someone else. The creative medium is either not a respecter of persons or it's a respecter of all persons. So whatever we're praying for, I have learned over time it is best to not only want what you want, but to deep down want the highest and best good for all. Lastly, co-creating with this thing that I'm calling today love intelligence is just about as much about articulating possibility as it is about the demonstration. Even when the demonstration doesn't take place the exact way we want it to, doesn't mean that we haven't hit upon the heart of the prayer, which is opening up to the divine possibility. I didn't get my win at roulette, but I was able to articulate a receptivity and an openness to greater prosperity and abundance. And if I can stay in that possibility, a demonstration will come about to bring it to me. I had to learn that was also not going to be through the slot machine or through the video poker, but through other aspects of this thing called life. The theme for our Back to Basics series is the divine idea. And what I want you to know, and I want you to ask yourself today, is there a divine idea for my life? Is there a divine idea for your life? I believe there is a divine idea for every aspect of your life. There is a divine idea for who you are called to become, a divine idea for your relationships, a divine idea for your vocation and your work. There's even a divine idea for what to have for lunch today. Our job is to cultivate the consciousness and engage in the practices that allow us to articulate that divine idea and to receive it in our lives. That is the magnificent work of identifying this divine idea and embodying it, receiving it, allowing it in. This is the work of the creative life. I love how Elizabeth Gilbert put it. While the paths and outcomes of creative living will vary wildly from person to person, I can guarantee you this. A creative life is an amplified life. It's a bigger life, a happier life, an expanded life, and a hell of a lot more interesting life. living in this manner continually and stubbornly bringing forth the jewels that are hidden within you is a fine art in and of itself. Co-create your life with love intelligence. Co-create your life with love intelligence. What we believe is there is a creative mind in the universe, and that it is propelled by love. By love. When we identify our relationship with this creative intelligence, it's like being in a relationship with someone who is absolutely in love with you. It wants the highest and best for you, no matter what, even when you forget what it is. It remembers your deepest intentions of the heart, your reason for being, even when you have forgotten it. It is always propelling you into your greater becoming, even when you've got yourself stuck in pessimism or apathy. This love intelligence is always working in our favor if we can articulate and let it in our lives. And when we are aware of its presence and we're working on that relationship, it's just like falling in love. It's just like falling in love. It doesn't remove every problem in your life, but those problems aren't as significant anymore. You have a spring in your step, a song in your heart, and life has a flow. It has vision and purpose and meaning. Our tagline in our teaching is change your thinking, change your life. But just as important is recognizing that we teach here that there is a divine idea for your life that you can articulate, embody, and realize, and that it has plans in store for you. This has been my experience in the spiritual life. And as much as many of us may be here to manifest success and well-being for us, just as much my own spiritual path has been learning about this thing called love, deepening in it, sometimes feeling defeated by it, being uplifted and transformed by it. It was 30 years ago, maybe even 30 years to the day. I was 14 years old, a freshman in a high school, and I'll tell you the story for some other time, but I have Ernest Holmes' classic book, This Thing Called You, in my hand. And I'm reading it, and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to help me get a great girlfriend. This is going to uplift my self-esteem and help me find a great career. And that's all wonderful. And then I hit upon this particular passage. It said, think for a moment upon those few whom you have lavished particular affection. Now invite your imagination to include more. Think to yourself, what would it be like if each person I met aroused in me the same deep affection? And I stopped right there. I actually got a little mad. Love everyone? Well, wouldn't that make the people I love the most less special? Wouldn't that mean that Rachel is no longer my favorite character on Friends, that I have to love Chandler and Ross all the same? And then I read the next line, and it said this: dare to lose your small affection, and you will find it increased and multiplied 1,000,000 times through greater union. Dare to lose your small affection. And my whole spiritual life since then has been opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to dare to lose my small affection. Josh, you think you've loved enough? No. Josh, you think there's more love behind you in your life than ahead of you? No. There is always more love if you are willing to stay committed to growth and living your life with love intelligence. Very happy in my bachelordom, my singleness. I started dating my friend April, who had a beautiful son named Gavin. Before I know it, they're living with me. Josh, dare to lose your small affection. Love has something different in store for you. Senior minister of a wonderful spiritual community in Seal Beach, California. I had what I called my trifecta where I lived. I was surrounded within 200 yards by the beautiful ocean and the beach, my favorite Irish bar, and the church. It all worked really well as long as I didn't go in the wrong order to those places. Going really well, I get a call from a man named Roger Teal. Josh, think you've loved enough? No. Dare to lose your small affection. You're going to Mile High. Good luck. Getting established in Colorado, rented a place. So grateful to find and finally have my own home office. Guess what, honey? I'm pregnant. The office quickly turned into the baby's room. Where have you been called? Or where are you being called right now to lose that small affection and live to a greater transparency and openness to a love intelligence that can uplift and transform your life better and better and better and better? It helps us to realize that yes, in life I have been victimized, but I am no victim. That in my life, I have utilized my power and misused it to think that I am in control, but I am not in control. I am free to live in the spirit of my own becoming. You are free to live in the spirit of your own becoming because there is a love intelligence greater than you are, and you can use it. And if you're really good and really open, it can use you to transform your life and to be a beneficial presence to others. And approaching this love intelligence, this thing we also call the science of mind, Ernest Holmes said, "Let us then approach the science of mind, the science of spiritual psychology, with awe, but not with fear, with truly a humble thought, but not with a sense that we are unworthy. Let us approach it normally, happily, willing to accept, glad to experiment, hoping and believing that as the result of our efforts we shall derive a great good, a sound understanding of the natural laws of life as they apply to the individual and his relationship to the whole universal scheme of things." One thing that Ernest Holmes says that I think defines our teaching well, he said, "We individualize the universal and universalize the individual." We individualize the universal and universalize the individual. That sounds complex, but it means the following three things that sum up our philosophy. First, we're all one. We are all one. That doesn't just mean that we're all connected. What it means is that the whole of the universe is in each and every single one of us. The whole damn enchilada is in you, as you, the all in all. We are not all that God is, but all that we are is made up of this love, intelligence, this spirit. What this also means is that we are surrounded by a creative intelligence, a creative mind, that we are co-creators with a divine power, and we get to bring a spiritual consciousness to how we behave, to what we think, to what we nurture and seek to grow in our lives, and we are backed up by a magnificent essence and power. It means that the love intelligence that created the universe, be it through the Big Bang or through the creation of the heavens and the earth, as we read it in Genesis, that very creation story is happening for you and for me right now. And it has a divine purpose. And that is that each and every individual has the opportunity to realize dignity, prosperity, liberty, happiness. That is the divine purpose of every being, no matter what religion they are, political affiliation, sexual orientation, etc., etc. It's for all of us. I love that about our teaching. The possibilities of the individual being surrounded by a creative mind and being all one. That's our whole teaching. That's the whole thing. And yet, and I mean this in a wonderful way and a slightly self-deprecating way, is we can sure make it confusing. We can sure make our teaching confusing sometimes. One, and it's something that's wonderful and unique about us, is we are a church, and yet we're not necessarily a religion. We're a church, but we're not necessarily a religion because our religiosity is about including the great wisdom and the best that has come to us through all faiths. We love wisdom. It come to us through a divinely inspired book or a great comedian or a philosopher. We synthesize it all, and that's what our teaching is all about. Another thing that's true about us is we're open at the top. What that means is our faith is fluid and not stagnant. That yes, we are based on principles and values that have been around as long as humanity has existed, but we still want to learn. What's that James Webb telescope teaching us? What's that philosopher or comedian or psychologist telling us? What does science have to tell us about the truth of who we are? We're always evolving and growing. Lastly, and this is more the self-deprecating part, we call ourselves so many different things, right? Religious science, science of mind, centers for spiritual living, Mile High Church, new thought, ancient wisdom. These are all wonderful names, but they can be hard to describe. The truth about our teaching is it is based on principles that go back to the initial evolution of human consciousness. We believe in the principles of the Vedas and the Upanishads of Hinduism. We believe and integrate the great ideas birthed through Plato and ancient philosophers. We believe wholeheartedly in the transformational teachings of Jesus to live in love and forgive and to practice the presence of God. And yet we are uniquely born of a movement, a spiritual movement that happened in the 19th century that became a combination of the mind-body connection through prayer and through healing. And Ralph Waldo Emerson's individualism, optimism, and idealism. These two things came together in a very powerful way to become the New Thought movement. Ernest Holmes, our founder, became a part of this movement. And he started something called the Institute of Religious Science, which would become the Church of Religious Science. And he wrote a book we call our textbook called The Science of Mind, which he initially entitled The Science of Mind and Spirit. About 15 years ago or so, we were called the Church of Religious Science, and people started to feel that it was too weird. We'd say, oh, we're the Church of Religious Science. And someone would say, well, is that Christian Science? Is that Scientology? And so there was talk about beginning to change the name. I wasn't against it because I'm kind of competitive. I think I'm wrong, but I was really competitive. When that famous Scientologist Tom Cruise gets asked, is that religious science? I want him to be pulling his hair out and say, no, they're the ones that believe we're all one, that we're a part of a creative mind, and that we're here to improve our lives and others through the wisdom of this divine knowing. That's what I wanted to see. But we now call ourselves Centers for Spiritual Living. And I love this phrase, spiritual living, because it emphasizes spiritual practices, which is what we're all about. And a lot of people started getting uncomfortable with this word church. It turns a lot of people off. We here are Mile High Church, and we kept the church, honestly, I'm sure, because of brand recognition. But I also think, and who knows, maybe we'll change it one day, that we're called here to reinvent church. That we're called to take this sacred ancient medium of bringing together people to worship and connect with the God of their own understanding and to apply it in inclusive, relevant, resident ways that can help us to live better lives connected with our inner source. That's what we seek to be. So we can call it whatever we want, but if you want to embrace this philosophy in your life this year, a few things. The first, embrace religiosity not by a name, but by how you live your life. See your religion not just as the cultural background that you come from, but as the practices you devote yourself to each day. The thoughts you choose to think, and the virtues you seek to embody in your everyday life. The moments of reverence you give yourself to experience the sacred in all of life. Also, embrace the unknown. Embrace the unknown. Thomas Edison once said, "We don't know 1/1,000,000th of 1% about anything." I love that. I think too many people look to religion and to spirituality to solve the mysteries of life, to give us the answers of what we don't know. For me, that's an incorrect purpose. A good spiritual philosophy connects us with the mystery of life and allows us to delight and celebrate and even grieve richly in the not knowingness of what is. We are here to listen and to evolve and to grow. And lastly, give yourself to this love intelligence. Co-create your life with love intelligence. It will be the most important, powerful, meaningful thing you will ever do. And love intelligence will become an essential and central relationship in your life. One of the things I want each and every person to leave this sanctuary or turn the internet off with today is a creative affirmation. What I want for each and every one of you is a creative affirmation. What I mean by that is I want you to have an affirmation that you can say every day that grows and grows in its meaning and grows you. So it shouldn't be too specific, like I will win $1 million. Right? It can be something like, I am deeply loving and profoundly loved. I practice kindness first wherever I go. I experience the richness of life in every experience. Think about what it could be for you. You can think of an area of your life where that affection has dimmed, dulled, or become perhaps even sharp and prickly. And think of an affirmation that you can say each day in your morning practice. I am loving in new and profound ways. And you get to think about that day ahead of you and say, where can I manifest that in this encounter? And doing something thoughtful and caring for my partner. And doing something caring and meaningful for me. We get to see each day how that affirmation might anoint itself in our lives, reveal itself, and grow us in new and profound ways. An affirmation for us today, coming up on the screen. I give myself to love intelligence and release any sense of victimhood. Will you say that? Thank you. I give myself to love intelligence and I let go of any need to control. I give myself to love intelligence and live freely in the spirit of my becoming.
I give myself to love intelligence and live freely in the spirit of my becoming.
Our job is to not decide and direct what the demonstrations of our life is. The spiritual life is about courageously learning to trust that this love intelligence can create an incredible life for you. This love intelligence can create an incredible life for you. It's the most beautiful, rich thing to know in the whole world. Joseph Campbell once said some advice given to a young Native American on the day of his initiation. In life, you will approach a great chasm. Jump. It is not as wide as you think. Kurt Vonnegut said, we're all just falling from the sky and growing wings on the way down. Terence McKenna said, throw yourself into the abundance of life and find that you do not hit on a rocky ground, but on a feather bed. It's about courage. It's about trust. And it's about allowing this creative love intelligence to operate in your life. Henry Nouwen was a great Catholic teacher who created an inspiring, unlikely friendship with the Flying Radleys, who were a trapeze circus act from Germany. The trapeze is when the flyer shoots into the air and there's a catcher there to catch the flyer and swing him to the other side, usually at least presenting us the illusion that death is possible for the flyer and perhaps even the catcher. Nouwen got to talking to the leader of the Radleys, who was the flyer, and the flyer explained this about the role of the catcher. I must have complete trust in my catcher. People might think I'm the star, but the real star is Joe, the catcher. The secret is that the flyer does nothing and the catcher does everything. The worst thing the flyer can do is try to catch the catcher. I am not supposed to catch Joe. It's Joe's task to catch me. If I grab Joe's wrists, I might break them, or he might break mine, and that would be the end for both of us. A flyer must fly, and a catcher must catch. And the flyer must trust with outstretched arms that his catcher will be there for him. I am not asking you to throw yourself with complete abandon into the unknown divine. What I'm asking you to do is to give a little of yourself each day, to open up, to allow your affection to be expanded, and to allow this love intelligence into your life so that it can provide the healing, the opening, and the possibility to do what it was very much designed to in a divine creative mind for your life and for mine. Moving into prayer today, invite any of our beautiful prayer practitioners to stand and join me. These folks are available for affirmative prayer, affirming your relationship with love intelligence. So in this prayer, I ask myself, am I truly open? Am I truly open to receive, to become transparent, to allow to seep through the magnificence of a divine creative power? Can I accept myself as I am to be worthy enough, willing enough, valuable enough to know that the right of a divine intelligence has existed always for me? And even if I'm only seeing it at this now moment, I know it has been there all along. Am I open enough to release control, force, the need for recognition, and to allow this love intelligence to be a light, a guide, a beacon on my journey? Can I trust this love intelligence to show up when I need it and to surprise me when I didn't think I did? To speak through loved ones and through strangers and in a consciousness that holds a grander view and accountability for all people and for our planet. And can I love myself enough to give myself to love? To know it's what I really want and what I really need. And the rest is just allowing it to catch me and do its thing. Let's let love do its thing. And so it is. Amen.
Thanks for listening to the Mile High Church podcast. This podcast is made possible by the generous contributions from listeners like you. To make a donation, please visit milehighchurch.org.